It's the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, where I go and look at low plays and strategies specifically designed for GPPs. This is a show for people who are already informed on daily fantasy sports and how this contest operate. If you have any questions related to NASCAR, this is a super question, feel free to shoot my way. BrandonCruzDFS on Twitter. Most importantly, take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Usually push everyone when making entries. Additionally, if you have a gambling addiction, that's not my problem. Let's look at the Xfinity Series at Daytona. I'm getting that out of the way really quick because I had to talk really slow on this last video. If you guys have not seen it, I made a Cup Series video this weekend breaking down how I will approach the Cup Series race this week. It's pretty much the same thing for the Xfinity, but it's worth a listen. I don't think I've gone in detail about it. Pierce has gone in detail about it in the past, but I don't think I've seen anybody really break down how to look at a Wreckfest filled race in the Cup Series like that. So hopefully I can just keep redirecting people towards that video for the next 4 years so they stop asking me, what is a 4-2? What is a 3-3? Is that a defense in the NFL? What is going on here? So there's that. So we're going to talk about the Xfinity Series at Daytona in this one here. Go to racefortheprize.com to get the fantasy NASCAR spreadsheet that I use and that you need to be using as well. You're missing out if you don't use it. I don't know how you guys are doing your research without it. You are not getting all you need to make lineups for. But let's look at Daytona here. And I don't expect this race to be Wreckfest. I don't think it's going to be wild. It should just play out as any other Xfinity Series race. A lot of these guys, I don't see them really making a whole lot of mistakes. I think a lot of these guys are just going to ride and just get this stupid race over with. They don't want to destroy their plate cars. They don't want to destroy a car for whatever reason. The prices reflect that on DraftKings as well. DraftKings knows that this race is going to be determined by people with fast cars. And it's, like I said, it's reflected in the salaries. I mean, you got Chase Briscoe starting on pole at 9,400. You have Ross Chastain starting second at 8,300. Austin Cindric at 10,700. Noah Gragson 8,500. Justin Allgaier 10,400. Brandon Jones 8,700. So on and so forth. DraftKings knows this. Everybody knows this at this point, that the fast cars are going to stay up front unless there's a wreck, unless they unless they junk it for whatever reason. The fast cars should finish ahead. The fast cars should be able to pull away from the slower cars, and there's such a big discrepancy in speed, even at these plate tracks, to where the draft equalizes everybody. Everybody's on equal playing field. Well, it's not always like that on the plate tracks. Certainly not in the Xfinity Series. I think we see maybe 2 to 3. We're still going to have wrecks. Don't get me wrong, we're going to see wrecks, but I'm not going to be as aggressive with the wreck field, strategy that I'm implementing for the Cup Series this weekend. That's pretty much that strategy turned up to 100 to the extreme side. So who do I like for the Xfinity Series this weekend? I'm not personally going to be vague, but look, you can't look to predict plate tracks, and everybody knows that. That's why this video is going to be shorter than most that I do for Xfinity and Cups, or for the Xfinity and Truck Series. But look, the only person that I really want to lock in is AJ Allmendinger. He's gonna get through the field. He's gonna pass the guys pretty easily. He'll probably be in the top 10, probably first 4 laps. That's probably how it's gonna be. Obviously, you got to look at Joe Gibbs Racing. You got to look at Junior Motorsports. You got to look at Colleague. I just went blank. What is their stupid team name? Haley Chastain and AJ Allmendinger. I just went blank on how to pronounce their team name. But those guys are going to be the cream of the crop. And then you'll probably have RCR with Anthony Alfredo. You have Brett Moffitt. You have probably the Rium brothers and SS Greenlight Racing, probably mid-pack. And then you're going to see, Harmon and BJ McLeod and JD Motorsports around out the field. And I mean that, I don't mean to talk so general here, but I think that's how it's going to be. The one thing that we pray for in the Xfinity Series and for DFS in general on plate tracks is we want crashes, We want crashes. It helps us out. Unless you got a lineup that is just dominating the field, you don't want to see a wreck. But most of the time, you want to see a wreck at Daytona because part of your lineup is planned for that. You've made your lineup in part to get ready for people wrecking, to get ready for bad equipment passing good drivers because the good drivers wreck. That's how you usually construct lineups. And we've talked about this time and time again. even I love talking plate tracks, but I say the same thing every freaking week we go to a plate track, or every month, every time we go to a plate track. The 4 times a year we go here, I say the same stuff. Ownership. I think it's crucial to find where the ownership is on people to where, I think it's worth pivoting. Do I think NBA Motorsports runs the full race? I think all cars in NBA Motorsports run the full race, regardless if they have sponsors or not. I'm recording this on Wednesday night. I think everybody runs this race, regardless of if they have a sponsorship or not. It's a great opportunity for these teams to do better. They just need crashes to go their way. I mean, I don't have much to add over that. The Xfinity Series is not as cut and dry, not as easy to read as Daytona or as the Cup Series. All I can say is that pretty much anybody from 20th on back, and that's, I'm going to go through the names. So Williams, Little, Graff, McLeod, Earnhardt, Fincham, Howard, take it behind the wall, Cody Vanderwall, Greg Galding, Matt Mills, Vinnie Miller, Timmy Hill, Cesar Bassarella, which he should probably finish probably 30th. Gaze, AJ Allmendinger, Mike Harmon. Why is Mike Harmon back in here? He's not going to do well. Tim Veens and John Jackson. Pretty much the only guy I don't want to play is Tim Veens. I just don't trust this man. I don't like him at all. But everybody else, I mean, there's not going to be ownership centered around one person. It's going to be around how people construct lineups. It's really going to be a lineup construction type of week. So let's look at these really quick here. Let me look. And also, did anybody watch the Indy 500? Why I'm bringing this up? Why did they call it? People are like, well, drivers are gonna, someone's gonna get killed. Someone's gonna die if they let that go. If they let it go back green. Well, I was like, screw it, let's go. You're telling me the Indy 500 has a chance to end with a green-white checkered finish at a place that, most likely a driver will fly into the catch fence or hit a wall at a bad angle and most likely get injured, or they fly into the catch fence and there's no fans. You, as IMS, don't have to worry about paying out a lawsuit to a fan who had their family member get killed or a fan who got injured. Like, that is the perfect situation to have a driver get killed and just have the drivers get injured. No fans will get injured. Nobody gets injured other than the driver who has signed a waiver. Like, I don't get that at all. That was a stupid move to end the 500 under yellow. That was just stupid. That was so stupid. Just stupid. Anyway, now that I brought it up because this thing was going pretty freaking slow, let me throw together a lineup and just see where it goes. So, for example, let's say you got Justin Haley, Daniel Hemrick, and Chastain as guys that you think are going to be fast. That leaves you $7,600. So you're most likely going to be looking around the LeBay, Sieg, Timmy Hill, Greg Galding, Brandon Brown, Vinnie Miller, Mike Harmon, Colby Howard type of area. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I think you need to use starting position as a real indicator of ownership. For example, I just told you that Timmy Hill, $7,500 starting 31st. I fully believe MBM runs the full race. People are going to see him starting 31st, $7,500 on a plate track, be like, oh, I am in on that. Greg Galding, 28th, starting $7,300. Man, I like him, 28th. Like Timmy Hill's at 31st. And I'm not even building this lineup out completely. I'm just saying that's how people are going to look at. You need to look at where salary is, and you need to look at where the people are starting. Because I guarantee you the people who are higher in, or people who are $6,200 and $8,000, that area in between is going to be heavily dictated by starting position. That's just how it's going to be. So, and it's going to be dictated by starting position and by name and name recognition and car and team recognition. So, for example, I mean, Timmy Hill will probably have high ownership just because he's starting here. Greg Galding probably won't have as much because people, don't really recognize Greg Galding unless you're a NASCAR fan who's been around for a few years. They're like, no, I don't like that. Brandon Brown should be ignored by people. I'm not saying ignore him. I'm saying his ownership should be low because he's starting 15th. People are going to want to play Timmy Hill, Greg Galding, Mike Harmon, Vinnie Miller, Colby Howard. They're going to want to play other people. So Brandon Brown's a place that I would look at to be different, especially if you think it's going to be a wreck fest, if you think it's going to be a lot wild than even what I'm expecting. You might want to go Brandon Brown as your one front runner or one punt, which like I said, we haven't seen the Xfinity Series get too crazy recently, but it has happened. Maybe we're due for one. I've been playing single entry for about the last 2 months now. This is where I'm going to go back to making a lot of lineups for both races. Not for the Truck Series on Sunday, but for the Daytona races. I'm going to make a lot of lineups. And, that's just how it's going to be. It's going to be crucial to figure out where people are on ownership, where people are on, just building lineups. I think the best way to get an idea of that is just make lineups. And if you start laying on a lot of people, you got to remember that people are going to be making lineups the same way. They're going to land on people as well. So who are you not looking at? Who are you not building lineups around? That's how you really have to approach the Xfinity Series race. So yeah, just to summarize, I think we probably won't see a wreck fest in the Xfinity Series. I will still make lineups in case that happens, but I will primarily focus on a race to where probably 24 drivers finish on the lead lap. We'll probably lose 10 to crashes, and we have to determine who are those 25 drivers that avoid crashes, that possibly get the win, that possibly get place differential, that possibly finish up in front. That's how you got to look at it. It's plate racing. That's why this video is way shorter than normal, because, it's pretty easy. That's how you got to approach it. Feel free to shoot me a message on Twitter if you want my opinion on certain drivers. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some other articles out there for Xfinity this weekend that you can read, that you can see where ownership lies. Free NASCAR DFS is usually a good indicator of where chalk is going to be, and that's not an insult, because I've talked to Jason about that before. That's not an insult, but I use that as a great indicator of where the chalk is going to be, to where the main plays are going to be coming from. So you might want to read that and then be like, oh, okay, well, he's talking about this guy. I might not want to play him. That's usually how it goes. But I mean, play tracks are just ownership and hoping that if you have a lineup that's sucking with about 20 to go, you want a big ass wreck. If you got a lineup that is killing it with 20 to go, you want it to go green. And we've all been on both sides of that coin. So best of luck, guys, at Daytona this weekend, and we will talk to you later.